Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 39 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance. And in today's episode, I have much ado about this wonderful fight. A fun fight, in fact. It's going to be one that encapsulates the great struggle of Ike's party versus a Goldoan dragon and Daein. Strange to say the least, but also weirdly cool. Alright, so Ike, move. You can move as well. I gotta move all of these units first and foremost. One thing I will tell you, this is something that you do want to be very mindful of, is that there are sleep staves. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's 3. 1, 2... Pretty sure you have one as well. Yes. So I am obviously bringing Volk to do some thievery of the physics staves. I don't really care about the men's staves. I have enough of those. But all of the physics staves for the rest of this game are going to be stolen. There are also long-range tomes, if I'm not mistaken. I might be totally mistaken by that, but no, not you. No, I could have swore there was a long-range tome, but I guess not. So, reinforcements show up here, and they also show up here. I do think they show up down here too, but it might be from this side, not really where you show up from, which is fine. The way I'm going to be structuring my front in this specific map is making sure that there is a rear guard, basically. But not only do we have a boss, we have a couple of sub-bosses. First sub-boss that you meet is Kazatai. He is a general, and a very, very interesting one. Looking at his stats, they don't look anything out of the ordinary or crazy until you realize he actually has a very good amount of resistance. It's better than his defense for some unknown reason. He has magic that's equal to his strength. His skill and speed are both equal to his magic and strength. I mean, very weird unit. Having a Brave Lance as well. And the Wrath skill increases critical hit percentage whenever a unit's HP are at half or less. So he actually has a pretty reliable chance, especially that he has a Brave Lance, to crit your units. Be mindful of this. Now, the actual range of these units with their wonderful sleep staves is only 7, if I'm not mistaken, so it's not actually that great. If it wasn't for the fact that obviously Tormod is not going to be getting anything done with that meteor versus them, he's only going to be doing somewhere in the realms of like 8 damage, which is just pathetic. I would halfway want to use them on them, these two. But it's perfectly fine. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get that restore staff on Mist this turn. So, I halfway want to do that and just use up the Physic as my only means of healing for the time being. Because even though I would prefer to have the men's staff, I can't get rid of the Sonic Sword. Need that for whatever I could potentially have it for. And then I'm going to need the Restore staff because a lot of my units are susceptible to their wonderful sleep. Now, because this is very much different than Thracia, sleep is not permanent. It only lasts 5 turns. But it also, the hit rates of the sleep staff is dependent on your the enemy's magic versus your resistance. So somebody like Ike, who has 17 resistance, they will have the minimum possible hit, which I believe is 30. It might be a little bit less than that, but I believe it's 30. Which means that they're not going to typically target somebody like Ike. However, I have a unit with Provoke. He is going to be up front and center and within their range at all times. Granted, it would be nice to be able to get these sleep staves, but where they are and all the enemies that are around, it is virtually impossible without doing some finagling to get a unused sleep staff. I'm still going to try to some extent, but I can make no promises. Now, of course, there are other units to speak of. For instance, there is another sub-boss, Toronio. He is a general, and a much stronger one at that compared to Kazatai. Not just because his stats are better, but because he has arguably stronger weapons. Yes, the Brave Lance is actually very thematically powerful with Wrath. Very, very much so. But he has to be at 18 health in order to use it, Kazatai. And the problem with that is he has very low defense and resistance in comparison to the other bosses in this chapter. Granted, he does actually have more resistance than Toronio, but not by much. Considering Toronio over here has way more HP and way more defense, he's going to be doing a pretty significant amount of damage with that 22 strength as well. The Occult Scroll is here for the taking if you want to steal it. That does allow you to have a mastery skill. This is going to go to Ike, so that he can have the wonderful and amazing Aether skill. Granted, I do still believe that that Adept and Resolve is the best combo of skills to put on Ike, especially with Miracle as well, for the final boss fights in this game, especially on difficult mode. This is what I'm going to recommend to you. I'm only giving him Aether because of the fun of it. I already did the whole Resolve and Adept thing on a previous playthrough. So he has A rank in swords and lances, and also has Resolve himself, which first time we are witnessing this in this game. Increases strength, skill, and speed whenever units' HP are at half or less. When his HP is at 24 out of his 48, he will have 11 more strength, 9 more skill, and 6 more speed. This is incredible. This is one of the things that makes him a terror. He's actually the hardest boss in this chapter if you do happen to get him to his low HP threshold. And then Ina, the Red Dragon. She is using a Demi-Band, so she has some minuses here, but it doesn't matter. She still has 25 strength, defense, and resistance. Luckily for us, the breath weapons in this game for the dragons are not 1-2 range, and they're also kind of very weak. Only 10 might means that she only has 35 attack. I will definitely be stealing that elixir from her. However, she comes with a boatload of skills: Renewal, Miracle, and Boon. So restores a set number of HP per turn. This is going to restore 5 HP per turn. She is on the throne, which will also restore another 5. So she heals 10 HP per turn just from sitting on this space. She has Miracle, which reduces any lethal blow to half damage, and this is a luck percentage chance in this game. So yeah, only 14%. It can still proc, and it's annoying when it does, but it's not likely. And this is Boon. Returns an adjacent unit to normal condition. This is totally not useful to even know in this chapter, because she's not going to have any instance where that's going to be an actual factor. Alright. So I can smite you. And I can shove you. And then smite you. Titania can also move to the fullest extent of her movement. I'm going to chant for Shinon. So smite and shove are basically the reasons why I brought Leith, Mordecai, and Moram. And believe you me, I'm going to abuse it to its fullest. These guys don't have 1-2 range. These guys do. At least one of them does. So 7 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's perfectly fine right here. Volk, I'm going to put him here. He should be fine moving as far up as possible as well. That is my turn. Yeah, this starting enemy force is quite daunting because they swarm you pretty quickly. But if you're remotely intelligent, you can get past them. This is one of the reasons why I forged a weapon for Ike. he desperately needs the ability to be able to two-shot these enemies, because otherwise they're just going to be directly in my way, and I don't want that. Perfect. Daein can finish off this halberdier. Didn't even need a proc of Luna, but whatever. Nice job. And next, I could attack you, but I'm not going to. At least not yet. Very nice, Shinon. I was hoping for a crit. Didn't know if it was going to happen. Thunder. And of course, I'm going to be breaking down all these doors in this wonderful place and getting all of the chests I possibly can. It's going to be a wonderful time. In fact, Stefan can be the one who breaks this one. Ooh, 80 health? Is that... Oh, you know what? That's amended. I think because this is difficult mode, the health of the doors is much higher. Not great, actually. I'm very unhappy about that being a thing. Gelsis. It's funny saying that name while playing a Path of Radiance playthrough, but I thought it was a very fitting name for that forge particularly. Wow, she's not KOing here, which is not great. I could give the KO to Shinon, I suppose. What's unfortunate is I put Stefan here, so I'm just going to have to move him out of the way and have Titania and Mist break down this door because they've got Kanto. So, I actually don't think this is going to be of any use. No, because I can't smite him. I will chant for you. And I could smite you. That'd be nice. Longbow. Longbows are not great in this game, even remotely. So when you get the chance to use one up for its actual intended purpose, it's pretty fantastic. Okay. You cannot shove there. Yeah, so perfect. What I'm going to do here is attack you with Stefan. That nasty 2% crit, I think it was, would have been not so funny had that mercenary actually procced it, though. Having a target for healing is not a bad thing either, so either way. 14 times 2, 19 times 2. Shinon. I will put you there. I kind of wish that this game had the super effectiveness against doors that axes have. Wait a minute. It does. Wow. Well, at least it must, because why else would she do 53 damage to that door? Yeah, there is unfortunately an enemy in here. That doesn't matter so much because I will be taking him out with Mist. Probably a combination of Mist and another unit because it just makes sense to do such. And Ike can go right here and block the other pathway. I could go here with a couple of my units, like the southern path. Problem is that I kind of want all of my units together in case of there being a need to restore. And I think that will be it, especially because he does not have a ranged weapon. This should be a miss. Yes. Ike has so much resistance that he is 100% not affected at all by any such magical attacks. Ooh. Pretty decent damage. And you're blocking the way, which is not fun. But I'm healing that off, so that's fine. Now, it would make sense to just give Mist this KO and let her move forward. But I think for the sake of doing this chapter in a reasonable time, a reasonable amount of time, I'm not going to do that quite yet. I do need to, however, leave somebody with Volk for the sake of attacking reinforcements and so on and so forth. And I've already decided who that's going to be, which is going to be Titania. So she's the one who's going to be able to take you out, as well as wait back here in the midst, because I don't necessarily want my Legu's units to deal with that either. But what this will allow me to do also is to rescue. My Legu's units can help rescue as well, which will be nice. Okay, 17 times 2. And he crit. That was not enough damage, but thankfully, he did not care. It is fully possible for a sleep staff to still hit a unit that has way more than enough resistance to block it, but that doesn't matter in my case because, again, I have restore staves. Alright, the rest of you move on up. You can be shoved by Leith. And smited. I did not necessarily mean to do that, but alright. Perfect. Devdan and Shinan will be able to go help Tormod immediately. Killer Lance and Pure Water equipped. Now you have a beautiful, wonderful 22 resistance. That'll help quite much. That is my turn. Everybody's positioned pretty darn well. And this is most likely a slept... Yep, he is gone. Provoke is working its miracles. The other one, I'm not exactly sure why he decided to stay there and attack Mist. He actually could have reached Rayson, because they both have longbows. Alright, Kazatai, you are going to be doomed in just one moment. After I go ahead and steal this chest, and then immediately rescue. Aw, man, it would have been so nice if I could have put her there. Oh, well. Oh, well. And restore, because I'm going to need all of the units I possibly can muster to do all the deeds I need doing. Stefan is also a good candidate to leave behind for the reinforcements, because most of the reinforcements are axe wielders. Man, I actually kind of want to dance for you. Said,
for us, there is no tomorrow. We cannot be beaten, nor can we withdraw. We must defeat the Crimean army and bring His Majesty back to us.
Yeah, I think you're going to be dead, Kazatai. More than dead.
I cannot stop your march. But we are not yet defeated. General Ina, protect the capital.
Very nice chunk of experience points for Tormod. Yeah, Iron Blade. Okay, Steel Sword is the weakest. I might as well just waste that. And then 9 times 2, this is going to be 18, which means that Shinon could actually take you out. Which is nice. More experience points for him. Now, one thing I did do is I actually gave several of my units a level with bonus experience points because they were very close. Shinon was 1. He actually got a pretty good level. Tormod was 1. Devdan was 1. Ike was 1. And even Rayson was 1. And I like doing that occasionally. Alright, I guess I can chant for you. I think this is kind of partially waste, moving back like this, but then again, Rayson can fly, so it's not that big a deal. You're smited. You can move up. I think... Yeah, I actually think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to smite again. And then I'm going to move right behind Titania, and I'm going to take and drop. That will be the end of my turn, which is nice. And again, Provoke is working miraculously, because you'd think that Rayson would be the #1 target for these bow users. They wouldn't do much to Rayson, even if they hit, which is not likely, but still. And here comes the first swarm of axe-wielding reinforcements. I'm going to take care of them as I can, but I'm in no need to deal with them right now, so... Galzus, go ahead and break that door. Let's see. 35 attack. He should be able to break this, right? I don't think that's worth it, though. She can break it, though. Nice. Very nice. Especially because this is a quick, clean KO for Stefan. I do believe that Sage does not have a meteor, but there might be one of these doors that you open that does have one. Not too sure on that one, unfortunately. Alright, so I'm going to smite you. And yes, that's going to allow me to open this chest. Nice. Energy drop. Not exactly a great place there. Yeah, I could have actually stole this guy's sleep. I kind of want to strategize doing that, but the only issue is that I just don't... I mean, I could potentially steal, like, a use. I don't think it's really that necessary, if I'm being honest. Sleep staves, not... They're not great in this game. They're still useful. Don't... you know, never mind the fact that I'm saying they're not great. They still have their uses. It's just that they're not exactly what I would call necessary. This game does not have as many instances where stuff like that is what you want to be doing with your time. Putting units to sleep rather than just fighting and defeating enemies. Well, that was a nice KO. Not all that necessary, but nice nonetheless. So I'm definitely going to be healing up Shinon this turn with Mist, as that is the most intelligent thing to do in this juncture. And I can even do it from right here. Perfect. And a level up for Mist. Very nice. She finally got a point of strength. Not really betting on that happening too often, or caring if it does, but it is nice when it happens. And Xavier to finish off this soldier. Devdan is no threat whatsoever of being harmed by a shine-wielding bishop. Light magic in this game is just very terrible. That is an S rank in lances, and you do get an S rank lance in this game. The problem is that you get it in the final chapter. And on difficult mode only, it is exceptionally difficult to actually obtain. So I kind of take it as something I don't pay much attention to. I just let it be most of the time. I'll obviously show it off, but yeah, it's not something I'm going to obtain. Aww. Well. I can smite you. There is some more folks that need healing. I want to say it's not many more. Okay, so Stefan is the one who needs the healing the most. Might as well get to it at this moment. And then move forward. That is my turn yet again. Yeah, this chapter is pretty, I would say, easy if you do it in the right way. In a fast manner, that is. So, Titania can drop you right there. And then wait right there. Perfect. I think what I will do is put Ike here. Shove you. I am going to need some reinforcements. Some units destroying reinforcements, that is. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that with Stefan, Tormod, and the like. Shinon still has a pretty decent job to take care of over here. Ah, not KOing. He has a pretty high chance of actually KOing with the killer bow, so why not do that? I was considering the Brave Bow in that moment, but I didn't think it was all that useful. And of course, I'll have to sling one of these over here. That means that it will be broken by Titania, which is nice. Alright, so next thing I need to do, I could actually kind of get him out of the way with Mist's wonderful Sonic Sword. Do I want to do that, though? What I do know that I'm going to do, for sure, is I'm going to chant for these 4 and move Racing up. And of course, right here is fine. I'm almost certain, yes, this guy has 17, so he has an 8 range. So from right here, let's say right here, he'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can actually reach Racing there. That's not fantastic, I'm gonna say. Not fantastic, but you know what? Oh well. Break. That's a dead door. And that's an open chest. Nice. A talisman. Perfect. You know what's funny is that Ike has so much resistance right now that even though I'm always inclined to give stuff like talismans to the main Lord characters of Fire Emblem entries, I almost want to say that that's not necessary right now. I almost want to completely say that that's not necessary. That there is actually no significant benefit from that whatsoever. What I will do, this guy only has 5 movement, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's not going to be able to reach Racing if I stand here. I'm going to equip the Defender, but I'm also going to go down here and KO him. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is actually only because the fact of the matter is that I don't want him to go attack Racing, and if he does do that, I'm going to be kind of at a loss for a bunch of gauge. I just really don't want to do that. So, concluding my turn, I have a couple of units down here to take care of, a little bit more doors to open. I have a feeling I'm going to probably be finishing this chapter in the next 10 turns maximum. Good job, Daein. Okay, these guys are diverting. That's kind of funny. And Ike is being healed by Racing. Let's see, the diverting troops, I think they are making their way to, yes, Shinon and Tormod because they're closer. Stefan has to deal with these guys here. I actually don't want him to have anything to do with this Killer Axe guy. What I might do is have Tormod, as well as I could. Am I going to do anything significant with that, though? Not really. Brave Bow. Aw, if only that was actually going to KO there. The Brave Bow in 2 shots. That would have been a perfect thing to do. However, though I would love to continue this chapter as I find it to be hilariously fun, it is time for me to call it quits. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.